something very strange is happening in Major League Baseball. The 2025 season has only just begun, and already the sport is experiencing events that defy logic and expectation. Teams predicted to dominate are faltering. Teams left for dead are surging to the top of the standings. Records that once stood for over a century are being shattered in a matter of days, and controversies, from suspensions to equipment scandals, are reshaping conversations about the integrity of the game itself. Baseball, in its eternal unpredictability, has never looked quite like this. The official start came overseas, at the Tokyo Dome on March 18th, when the Dodgers and Cubs opened the year in Japan. But what should have been a dignified first pitch ceremony was instead overtaken by spectacle. A child stepped onto the mound holding a pokeball instead of a baseball, while giant Pikachu mascots paraded across the field to greet the players. It was a surreal image, one that set the tone for a season that would quickly prove stranger than fiction. When opening day arrived on March 27th, anticipation filled every ballpark. All 30 teams were scheduled to take the field, millions of fans ready to watch the first pitches of the season. Yet, at the exact moment games began, MLB's official streaming service collapsed. MLB TV, a platform that charges $150 per year, went down nationwide. For nearly an hour, fans could not watch or even listen to a single game. The debuts of stars like Juan Soto with the Mets and Garrett Crochet with the Red Sox passed unseen. By the time the service returned, the outrage had already spread across the internet. MLB's eventual apology, an online coupon worth $10 off a merchandise purchase, did little to calm the fury. On the one day it mattered most, the league had failed its audience. On the field, the early weeks brought their own shocks. The Miami Marlins, dismissed in nearly every preseason projection, suddenly found themselves in first place. With the league's lowest payroll and little national attention, they opened with a 3-game sweep of the Pirates, each victory ending in a walk-off. They became the first team since 1901 to win their first 3 games in such fashion. For Pittsburgh, the pain was doubled. They became the first club since 1924 to lose their opening 3 games on walk-offs, a record they had set a century earlier. Elsewhere, the mighty Atlanta Braves collapsed out of the gate. A team predicted by many to dominate the National League East instead endured humiliation. Swept in San Diego, they went 28 innings without scoring a run and managed only a single hit in their series finale. Their lone major off-season acquisition, Jurickson Profar, was immediately suspended 80 games for performance-enhancing drug use. By the time the Braves finally ended their scoreless streak with a Michael Harris home run, they had already lost their first 7 games, while the Padres and Dodgers surged to historic starts, each opening with franchise-best records. Strange weather added to the spectacle. The White Sox, at home in their 3rd game of the season, faced a torrential hailstorm so severe that their grounds crew could not stretch a tarp across the field. The crew resorted to patching together smaller tarps of different colors, leaving the infield covered in a bizarre quilt of material. In Colorado, the Rockies' home opener unfolded in a blizzard, the coldest in their history, as players and fans braved 37-degree conditions through swirling snow. Even Mother Nature seemed determined to make this season unlike any other. Meanwhile, the Rays and Athletics found themselves playing not in their home stadiums, but in minor league parks. The A's even held their press conferences inside what appeared to be a small tool shed, barely able to fit the players and reporters. Photos revealed the structure could be purchased at a hardware store for $6,000, further cementing the A's as the league's most troubled franchise. On the field, individuals struggled under the weight of expectations. Roki Sasaki, the Japanese phenom hailed as one of the most exciting young pitchers in decades, debuted for the Dodgers on March 19th. But in his first 2 outings, his command faltered, issuing walk after walk. After being pulled early in his second start, he was seen crying in the dugout, an image that spread quickly, capturing the emotional toll of the transition to the majors. In Boston, Rafael Devers set an unwanted record, striking out 12 times in his first 4 games and going 0 for 19 before recording his first hit. Cameras caught him alone in the dugout, consoled by former captain Jason Varitek. Even stars were not immune from the turbulence. There were moments of comedy as well. In St. Louis, catcher Wilson Contreras ripped grip tape from his bat with his teeth mid-at-bat to avoid a pitch clock violation. In Arizona, the Diamondbacks ran out of position players and had pitcher Ryan Nelson hit as a designated hitter, only to see him deliver an RBI single, the first hit by a pitcher since the universal DH was instituted in 2022. Days later, in Oakland, the Cubs demolished the A's 18-3, forcing catcher Johnny Pereda to pitch, while Cubs manager Craig Counsell allowed a pitcher to pinch hit for a shortstop. Pereda struck him out, marking the rare sight of a catcher fanning a pitcher at the plate. Records continued to fall. Washington's Mackenzie Gore matched Bob Gibson with 13 strikeouts and no walks in a scoreless opening day start. Carson Kelly hit for the cycle, the first Cub to do so since 1993. Yet even these remarkable feats were overshadowed by an even greater controversy, the return of the home run surge. In Milwaukee, the Yankees unleashed one of the most extraordinary offensive performances in modern memory. On March 29th, they hit 9 home runs in a single game, including 3 on the very first 3 pitches. Aaron Judge homered 3 times, nearly 4. The following day, the Yankees added 4 more home runs. In just 4 games, they had set a new record with 17 long balls to open a season. But suspicion quickly followed. Observers noted that several Yankees were using bats modified with unusual barrel designs, nicknamed torpedo bats. Critics accused them of manipulating equipment for an unfair advantage. Brewers' closer Trevor Megal described them as a disgrace. Social media exploded with accusations of cheating. Yet MLB declared the bats legal, revealing they were designed years earlier by an MIT scientist hired by the Yankees to improve performance. As controversy swirled, Yankees infielder Jazz Chisholm fueled the fire, mocking critics online and calling them idiots. Torpedo bats, once obscure, were suddenly the most debated piece of equipment in baseball. They became the symbol of a season already defined by chaos, sparking questions about innovation, fairness, and the future of the game itself. And so, in just over a week, the 2025 season has delivered more storylines than most years produce in months. Suspensions, snowstorms, streaming failures, torpedo bats, tears on the mound, and power surges at the plate. Major League Baseball has been transformed into a theater of the unexpected. Where it goes from here is anyone's guess. Will the Marlins remain contenders? Can the Braves recover? Will the torpedo bat become the face of an era, or vanish as a scandalous experiment? The only certainty is that baseball, in its endless unpredictability, continues to remind us that history is never written in advance. It is written pitch by pitch, inning by inning, season by season. The 2025 season is barely underway, and already it feels like the strangest in living memory. For fans, for players, and for the game itself, one truth is clear. Baseball is alive, it is unpredictable, and it is, perhaps more than ever, beautifully bizarre.